Hi everyone and welcome to today's book review of Heir of Fire by Sarah J Maas. I'm so excited to review this book. Oh my gosh, I love this book so much. I can't wait to share all of my opinions today. I was kindly sent this by the publisher to read and review on my Kindle, so I feel very privileged that they allowed me to read it months before its release. And although I am very happy about that, it's not going to affect my honest opinion. I'm still going to give you my honest thoughts because that is definitely the way forward in any book review that I do. Because this is the third book in the series, I don't really want to explain a lot about what it's about. I don't want to spoil things. I feel like if I started to explain things, there'd be spoilers all over the place. That is not something we want. What I will be doing is simply telling you the fact that it's about Selena, who is an assassin. She's been training as an assassin for quite a while, and then she gets caught and she has to work in the salt mines. There's lots of fighting. It's a fantasy. It's epic. It's just so good, everyone. You need to read this series if you haven't already. I know a lot of people have read the first book and really enjoyed it, and I would totally recommend continuing on with the others because it's just so good. Please read this series. So I'm going to start by talking about the characters to start with, and the characters in this book. Where do I start? They are so good. I love the characters, love the character development as well. Throughout the entire series, the characters have become more and more developed. I'm going to start by talking about Selena because, as I've said for ages and ages, as I've been reading this series, she's one of my favourite female protagonists ever. I really think she's strong, she's sassy, she's unique, she is great to read about, and I feel like in this book there was a lot of development with her personality as well. So we got to see lots of new sides to her, which was very exciting. I felt like I got to know her even more. With this book, I also really enjoyed all the new characters that were introduced. I felt like their development was really good. Out of these new characters, I would probably say that Rowan was my favourite. I really enjoyed his fierce personality and his attitude. I also really enjoyed the way that he interacted with Selena. I thought that was fantastic. The only negative thing I would say about the characters is something that I also found in the previous books. Because it's a fantasy, and I feel like this is sometimes the case with fantasies in general, not just this series, there were sometimes a lot of side characters in certain scenes, and it was kind of confusing. I had to keep referring back to character lists to find out who was who. That is just something that I found that I thought I may as well mention, but it didn't really affect my overall entertainment or enjoyment, so it's not really a huge problem to worry about. Now let's talk about the plot, which is fast-paced, it's gripping, it's just fantastic. From the very first page, I was hooked. I couldn't stop reading. I just really love the way that Sarah J Maas can really sustain her audience. You know, she sustains everyone's attention, and that is fantastic. I felt like the plot was definitely very complex, it was in depth, and although I don't really want to mention loads, again I don't want to give any spoilers, I thought the progression of everything was really good, and I can't wait to see how everything is going to continue in the next book, because oh my gosh, what is going to happen? I need to know what's going to happen to all of these characters and everything. It's just like crazy, and I need to find out now. As with the other two books as well, there was a lot of darkness and intensity. I always love this when books are dark, and towards the end, the last few chapters, they were so dramatic. Wow, dramaticness was craziness. It was so good. I really loved it, and I couldn't stop reading those parts. I was on the edge of my seat, and then when it ended, I just needed more. I need more right now. I just need to read more of this series, everyone. The only thing I'd like to mention that is probably more negative is the fact that I don't think overall the book was as entertaining as the previous two. I'm not sure really what it was. I'm thinking that maybe the other two books had a better progression. I felt like the plot was more secure in them, but this was still amazing. I don't want it to seem that I didn't enjoy this book, because I definitely did, but I just thought, you know, comparing books in the same series is usually a thing that I like to do. The final major thing to talk about is, of course, the writing, and I've loved Sarah J Maas's writing style from the very start of this series. I think she's a very talented writer. I think she has a great way with words. The descriptions that she includes in this book are amazing. They're so vivid and unique, and I think that because of these great descriptions, there's amazing world building. The way she describes this epic fantasy world is fantastic. You can't help just being thrown into this world. You know, you feel like you're there because it's so good. In between this description, there's also a lot of witty and creative dialogue, and I feel like this dialogue really helps to break up the description. It really allows the book to be a very quick and easy read, and I always really enjoy books when they've got a quick and easy style. I think the dialogue also really helps with the pacing as well, and you know, when stories are told through dialogue as well as description, that's always really exciting. So, dialogue and description, amazing balance between the two, and they were both done fantastically. So everyone, my overall opinion for Heir of Fire by Sarah J Maas is going to be a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this book. Probably not as much as the previous two, but it was still amazing. It's still a series I would recommend. I can't wait to continue with the other books. The highlights from this book were definitely the characters, all the new characters, as well as reading more about Selena, and and I also really enjoyed the dramatic nature of the plot, particularly in the last few chapters. It was just crazy and amazing. So everyone, that is it for today's book review. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope I persuaded you to read this series if you haven't already, because it's so good and I just really enjoy it. I can't wait to meet Sarah J Maas as well in August. I will be meeting her at a book signing that is going to be fantastic. So that is when I'll be able to tell her in person how amazing this series really is. But until next time everyone, thank you so much for watching and see you all again in my next video.